Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. And it's been a while since I've done a Kamala Harris story. I know it sees an easy target, but this one was hilarious because she did the same thing last year. And people absolutely ridiculed her for doing it. And she, it's out again, she's out there celebrating Kwanzaa. She said she was celebrating it, says she was a child. Only problem with that is that it did not come out. Kwanzaa wasn't invented until after she was born. So it's pretty hilarious stuff that she continues to spew out in order to identify into these groups because she is of course the first Asian BIPOC African American Indian, whatever you want to call her, vice president ever, right? She's the bestest ever. Unfortunately, we're stuck with her for a couple years. That's the unfortunate part though. But it's good to see that the American people still have the spirit to ridicule their public officials when they sit there and they put out little stunts like this. So let's kind of dive into what we have here. Of course, it's always a great day when Kabbalist's Harris gets mocked by the American people. It's my always fantastic so headline says Kamala Harris repeats highly dubious holiday statement for yet another year. Public's response is pure ridicule. That's right. As you definitely know if you have a child with a woke teaser teacher, Kwanzaa is yet again upon us on Monday. To non-denominational celebration of African American heritage begin. The 7-day festival runs through January 1, celebrating one principle of Black American experience each night. Not that many even celebrate, mind you. In 2019, USA Today found that of those planning to celebrate a winter holiday, only 2.6% would be celebrating Kwanzaa in 2012. NPR even asked, is Kwanzaa still a thing? Yeah. Short answer, yes. But only for the crowd that listens to NPR. Which also means the crowd. The Biden-Harris White House cares about this. It's a little surprise to both the president and vice president released messages marking the holiday season. Yeah. So here was these two clowns. We wish those celebrating a peaceful, joyous Kwanzaa. I think I tweeted out something to the effect that a fake president celebrating a fake holiday. Yeah. I think that sums it up pretty well, right? And then of course our multinational nationality. Vice President of course has to go out there and talk about this and her cup of a husband over here. I was growing up, Kwanzaa was special time in our home today. My family and I are reflecting on the 7 principles. Happy Kwanzaa. Yeah. No you're not doing that. You are not celebrate. So the internet, of course, we decided to go ahead and mocker. Matt Wallace was first ones that somehow I find it hard believe that she has a deep childhood attachment to a holiday that didn't even exist when she was born. It continues on. Mr. Information says a post of heartwarming videos of these. It would be educational. See how the Bermuda Indian family incorporating this celebration? Yeah. Because there is none. There's no pictures or videos of it. Right. And I think Rico says sounds wonderful. Please share your family photos so we can all share in your memories. Again. She doesn't have any. Mindy Robinson says no, you don't. Or no, you didn't post pictures. We'll wait. And they just continued to come. One person says the hilarity of all this, of course, is that the Vice President Kamala Harris ever celebrate Kwanzaa, as it's great. The Ann Coulter says every year, boy, I'd love to see a picture of her highly educated, culturally British and Bermuda parents. Lighting Kwanzaa candles, of course you won't. 100 individual here says that she wants us to believe that her Indian mother sat down with her Jamaican father, was like, yeah, let's get our Kwanzaa on. CJ says. Really? Who adopted Kwanzaa and your family? Your Indian mother or Jamaican father? Please tell us more. You sit on a throne of lies. Yes. She does. I'll donate 10,000 to Act Blue if she could name all 7 principles as an imposter. And it just continues the pile on her. It's absolutely hilarious. Well, because she is a fraud, just like the person who resides at 1600 Penton, Pennsylvania Avenue. These people are liars. They'll do whatever they need to do in order to seem like they are supporting the current thing. And they don't care. They don't care about the lies they tell, and media never hold them to account because there's a D next to their name. So there will never be held account to their lies, and they will continue to lie upon lie. That's why it's very important that we continue to ridicule these individuals every opportunity we get, because ridicule is one of those things, ridicule is one of those things that absolutely gets under their skin. And that's why they want to regulate the internet so bad, because they cannot stand the American people, the citizens of this nation, ridiculing them out of office. Absolutely. Love it. And then, this is some big news. Here's the question: who's this guy? Of course, most of you know the answer to that. That's former FBI lawyer Jim Baker, who then went to work on Twitter as their chief censor. We've often called Vijaya Gadde Twitter's chief censor, but really behind the scenes pulling the strings it was this guy, an FBI plant at the platform. But the question isn't, who is this guy? The question is, who the hell does this guy think he is? I think that's a much better question. Who do these rogue FBI agents think they are to censor the American public? These individuals took an oath to solemnly swear and affirm that they will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, those enemies against the Constitution are certainly domestic. In fact, it's them, and we're learning just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Like I keep saying, Mr. Jim Baker here and the online censorship department at the FBI weren't just working on compiling lists and censoring regular Americans. We're now learning that a rogue former FBI lawyer, Jim Baker, with deep connections and active connections working with the FBI as a proxy at Twitter, explicitly called to have the then sitting president of the United States banned from the platform for merely expressing an opinion that Mr. FBI lawyer didn't like very much. Doesn't exactly sound like upholding and protecting the Constitution from foreign and domestic enemies. Let's talk about this new bombshell released from the Twitter files. All right, folks, my private company, Twitter can do what they want. It's a private company. They can ban the sitting president of the United States, left Boyd's tell you, because they're a private company, except as we're learning, like I keep saying, like we keep covering, it wasn't a private company decision at all. Now it was FBI influence, federal influence behind these decisions, and behind the pressure to ban Donald Trump. FBI lawyer James Baker wanted Trump's optimistic tweet about the pandemic deleted. Elon Musk on Monday released another Twitter files dropped out. Twitter rigged the cuff debate by censoring info that was true but inconvenient to U.S. government policy by discrediting doctors and other experts who disagreed, and by suppressing ordinary users, including some sharing the CDC's own data. Disgraced FBI lawyer turned to Twitter lawyer James Baker wanted Trump's optimistic tweets about the co-op deleted. David's week, or David's Feig on Twitter, writes in a surreal exchange. Jim Baker, at the time Twitter's deputy general counsel, asks why telling people not to be afraid wasn't a violation of Twitter's misinformation policy. You're well, Anastasia. Why isn't this POTUS tweet a violation of our policy, especially this particular part of the statement? I'm going to blur that part in the tweet and also in the picture as well, the email, just because you really never know with YouTube. Right here, what you're seeing is an FBI proxy at Twitter calling for the removal of Donald Trump's account, which of course leads to a strike and possible suspension and possible banning. We have an individual acting on behalf of the FBI as interest, asking to delete and suppress the President of the United States. That seems like two things. First off, it seems like friggin' treason, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. Individuals working for or with the FBI essentially work for the president. What you're seeing here could be interpreted as mutiny or a coup against the sitting president of the United States. And secondly, as we've been saying, with all of this stuff, it's blatantly unconstitutional. I'm telling you guys, this is the President of the United States, for Pete's sakes, expressing his belief, releasing a statement, protected speech, and it should be, in my opinion, the most protected speech can possibly get, considering it's the friggin' president speaking. But individuals at the FBI, their egos have become so friggin' massive, so colossal, that I guess they believe they're controlling the White House. They believe that from the shadows they have the right to be able to dictate what the president can and can't say with his platform. Shocking stuff. Once again, aware is the friggin' outrage, especially after the FBI added insult to injury last week with their ridiculous response and statement claiming that it's just conspiracy theorists who are trying to put into question the credibility of the agency, trying to smear the agency with misinformation and lies. Here's the agency and their little lawyer plant at Twitter calling to censor the President of the United States, and this comes after their failed coup attempt, so-called Peter Strzok backup plan to frame Donald Trump with phony Russian misinformation in an attempt to impeach and unseat him as a duly elected president. This is an FBI that is absolutely and undeniably out of control, completely out of control. And of course, if you think it ends there, of course not, it gets worse, because as we know, it's not just the FBI. It's also the federal government, at least the new incoming federal government in the summer of 2021. President Biden said social media companies, I'm paraphrasing here, ending people for allowing misinformation on their platform. Alex Berenson was then suspended hours after Biden's comments and kicked off the platform the following month. Now we have internal communications documents directly implicating the Biden administration in this decision. One of the first meeting requests from the Biden White House was about misinformation. Per regular process, public policy took the meeting. Biden staff focused on the jab and high-profile anti-jab accounts, including Alex Berenson. Here's an interaction from a private Slack channel inside Twitter. How was the White House? Overall pretty good. They had one really tough question about why Alex Berenson hasn't been kicked off the platform. Otherwise, their questions were pointed, but fair and mercifully. We had answers. So now we have proof of two things. Well, we've already had proof of the Alex Berenson thing, but we have more details. We have proof that an FBI proxy was working at Twitter to influence the platform in censoring Donald Trump, and that the Biden administration was having regular meetings with Twitter to censor people's protected speech because it went against their narrative, directly saying that the White House Joe Biden's administration requested Twitter to kick off Alex Berenson from the platform that is the federal government. Multiple elements of the federal government involved in online censorship of Americans' constitutionally protected speech. This is the bombshell of all bombshells. This is proof. This is undeniable, absolute proof that the Merck private company argument is done. It's dead. The federal government and federal agencies were behind the big censorship push that we saw over the last 2 years. Stuff that I still have to deal with. The reason why I have to blur things, the reason why I'm extremely paranoid to be able to speak about certain topics or say certain words and things. It's the federal government that's behind all of it. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. Once again, you got to drop the theory. It's a federal conspiracy once again. They called us wacky tinfoil hat lunatics. But once again, we were right about everything. Now the next step and the next question is, how do you get the GOP and the RNC to actually act instead of focusing on attacking Kari Lake Donald Trump in his orbit? How about the RNC and the GOP focus on things that actually matter, like protecting people's constitutional right to friggin' speak? Thank you so much for listening. God bless. I'll be back soon with another report. God speak to each and every one of you. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all of your kind words. I'll be back soon. Patriot out.